Hello, welcome back to my journey of becoming a professional trumpet player. Um, Sadly, I'm breaking the tradition of wearing the same shirt every video. Just can't do that all the time. It's gonna start to smell. Anyways, I thought I'd build off last week's video of playing on the lead mouthpiece and high notes and talk more about high notes, specifically 3 different styles of high notes that I'm doing right now. And let's just get right into it. So I'm learning a lot of solo music right now for various performances and recitals and such like that. So thought I'd talk about each 3 different examples of things I'm doing and how they're different and how they all involve the upper register. And I'll begin that by talking about the Honegger's Entrada, which is a very famous trumpet solo. If you're a trumpet player, you're probably familiar with this piece. I've learned this piece in the past for auditions and things, but I've never actually performed it. And so I'm going to probably be performing it this semester on a recital, which is exciting, but also kind of daunting because the opening cadenza is really difficult and there's a lot of upper register playing, but you, as opposed to, lead trumpet playing, which I was talking about last week, where it's like super zizzly and bright and use a shallow mouthpiece. I'm using my standard like orchestral kind of mouthpiece and that I use pretty much every day for ensemble playing and warming up and things, but I still have to hit all these high notes with a lot of power and energy. Definitely a darker and broader sound, but with the same amount of intensity, definitely. Anyways, yeah, different kind of sound, but still the high notes need to be there. And someone commented on my last video to hear a comparison between what I normally play on mouthpiece wise and my lead mouthpiece. So this will kind of be an example of that. And yeah, I'll just play the beginning, opening section, and then I'll talk about what I'm thinking about or things I'm trying to improve. We'll just see how it goes from there. Okay, that was the opening kind of cadenza section of the Honegger's Entrada. Yeah, so a lot of difficult stuff. Pretty good overall. I mean, there were mistakes, of course. The biggest thing is, the high C. I'm playing on a C trumpet, by the way, so for a B flat, it would be a high D. The high C at the very end of the cadenza, if you can hit it, that's amazing, but you have to come down and not crack any of those notes coming down, and that's that always happens. That's like the common mistake. Yeah, I'm just trying to think of really intense, powerful bursts of energy to hit these high notes, as opposed to a zip for a lead trumpet high note. These are big stomping high notes, if that makes any sense. Specifically, it's really helpful right at rehearsal 1. Maybe I'll put the music up here so you can look along. Rehearsal 1, it goes high A flat, low G sharp, high B, and that's a pretty hard leap to do. You just kind of have to step over it. Yeah, that high B I've been trying to work on getting really nice and powerful. And then, of course, the high C. So kind of growing into it so it doesn't feel as thin, because it's not going to be as present as you want it to be. Most likely, it's towards the end. You might be a little more out of air, so you just have to kind of help uplift it that way, and then coming down, of course, and then keeping it in tune as well. So this high C can sometimes get flat, and especially if the G you played before is sharp, it'll sound really off, like the interval. So what I try and do is I try to get the F before the G to be, in tune using the slide, because it normally might be a little sharp. And then that'll help bring the pitch of the G down, if I use that as a reference. And then that will hopefully, even if the high C is going to be a bit flat, it won't sound as bad. So let me do that again. Yeah, and then it's a lot easier to come down if you isolate the part right there. I mean, it's a lot harder to come down from the high C when you put everything together like that. But yeah, that's what I'm working on for that, and those are some really powerful high notes I have to hit. And luckily, in a solo setting, you don't have to go, balls to the wall, make your face red. Like usually there'll be a lot of reverb in the hall to help you. You can back off a little bit, but you still need the presence of the sound to be there. Like the tone quality needs to feel powerful. And just thinking about that evenly in all registers. So that line right there at the very beginning. That's essentially what it is. So use that as the grounding. There you go. One kind of high note. Next kind of high note. Aha! So, the piccolo trumpet. I am working on some piccolo trumpet solos with organ. Specifically, the Telemann's heroic marches. Let me get the music out. I'll play the second one. That's the first one I've been working on with the organist. And you have to play pretty high on a piccolo, especially for Baroque music, but you can't let it explode like on the Honegger. It has to be nice and beautiful and warm, and definitely not piercing or powerful in any sort of way. So there's a weird, there we go, there's a weird noise coming from my instrument. Anyways, I'm just going to play a chunk of this, maybe the first half, and talk about what I'm thinking about for these high notes. Let me get warmed up first. Okay. Sped up a little bit. Oh well. Anyways, high notes on the piccolo need to just soar, right? That's what I'm thinking of, just like gliding through the phrase, nice, beautiful, not putting a lot of air through the horn. And of course, when you reach into the upper register of the piccolo, you don't want to force the notes out. You just want to let them float, drift into the audience, and then that'll help, especially with a slower paced piece like this, make a really beautiful sound. Yeah, another good example of something like that would be the L Mozart trumpet concerto. However the trill goes, but yeah, just like letting it kind of drift up. Yeah, often when we think about trumpet playing, thinking about taking more effort to get into the high register, right? And with natural trumpet playing, which is what they would use for this kind of music, it's kind of the opposite. It would get quieter and warmer and softer as you climbed higher, and it would kind of taper into a nice, beautiful line, and not grow like the Honegger, not like a rocket ship, like a paper airplane. Yeah. So another kind of high note. Yeah, also doing some improvisation, things like that, but definitely keeping yourself grounded, these are just things I'm thinking of, keeping myself grounded, drifting the notes out, different kind of high note. And then finally, the one I'm least confident in right now is back to this beast right here, the lead trumpet mouthpiece, and I've been working on the same solo, the Rafael Mendez piece. And getting a little better at it, but still, lots of hard licks in there. My professor gave me some exercises for playing on this thing, and they're pretty helpful, so let me get situated here. Yeah, it's weird switching between all these horns so quickly. And mouthpieces too. All right, anyways, one exercise is kind of like a chromatic scale, up an octave, but like the pattern is like down, up, down, up, or whatever, and tonguing it and getting a nice compression through the register. How does it go? Oh, here's how it goes. Took me a second to figure it out, but yeah, and then going up a half step. Yeah, just keep going and getting a nice even sound. That's been really helpful, getting kind of the grip of the different feel. Also doing some rips, or whatever they're called. Stuff like that. Because, the slotting is going to be all over the place if you don't practice it. Let's see. Last week I played good chunk of this. I skipped over the hard parts. I'll start from kind of the beginning again, but I'll try and get through the first hard chunk. We'll see how it goes. still feeling like there's some air in my sound, but I'm starting to conquer it a little bit. I think I'm starting to get a better grip at how to play like this. Yeah, and then, oh, I forgot about the high notes at the end, right? Oops. Yeah, so slotting is all over the place still, but it's getting better, definitely. And a different kind of, just here, I guess, to talk about the high notes, I'm thinking about just getting a nice, clear articulation, because if the articulation is good and it's centered, then it's so much easier to just rest on the pitch. Like, that's just the hardest part. So let me play another bit with high notes, the middle cadenza. Just thinking about that. Etc. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking about for that, and hopefully this might be helpful if you're also thinking about high notes. Excuse me. Yeah, but there we go. That's what I've been working on this week. Yeah. Spring break next week, so I'm excited to have some time off. Anyways, I'll keep up with the videos, and have a nice rest of your day.